I have gone into the lab and created 5 new Colorado Rockies cards that I want to see in MLB The Show 22. I calculated attributes, card art, everything. These things look legit. And today in this video, I'm going to be sharing these cards with you guys. Let's go. Woo. Obviously, this is a different kind of video than what you guys are used to on this channel, but I really wanted to start doing stuff like this that's aimed towards MLB 22, and building new cards for next year's game is a perfect place to start. Obviously, I'm a Colorado Rockies fan, so this video was very fun for me to make, but I want to build new cards for all 30 teams. So if you guys like this series and this video, make sure y'all let me know in the comments section down below. And let me know what team you guys want to see next. All of this is obviously my opinion, but the one requirement for all of these cards, they cannot have a card in MLB The Show 21. It's a player that we do not have this year, so therefore that would make it a new card in MLB The Show 22. Some of these cards, and even some that you'll see in this Colorado Rockies video, they've been in past games. These cards have been in past games, but not in MLB The Show 21. So like I said, that would be making it new for MLB 22. But I'm going to stop rambling. Let me show you guys these cards. Let's get into it. We're going to be starting off with one of my favorite players of all time and a fantastic former card in MLB The Show. Like I said, we're going to be seeing cards that used to be in the game. He was not in MLB The Show 21. That's Cargo. One of the sweetest left-handed swings of all time. Maybe the best of all time behind Griffey. Is that too hot of a take? I don't think so. 2010, Cargo had a fantastic year overall. 34 bombs, 117 RBIs. He also had a 336 batting average that year, which led the league. Not only did he lead the league in batting average, but he also led the league in hits with 197. He also led all of MLB with 351 total bases. An absolutely elite year, but if you look at the right side of that card, that is a second half card, because this man went diabolical after the All-Star game in 2010. Carlos Gonzalez's slash line after the All-Star game that year was 363, 412 on base percentage, and a 679 slugging percentage. He had 17 bombs and 22 doubles in 68 games. He had one of the best second halves in recent history, and it led him to a Silver Slugger, a Gold Glove, and he got third in the MVP voting that year in 2010. We didn't see a ton of second half series cards in MLB The Show 21, so I think this would be the perfect guy to give one to in next year's game, and this would be a super fun outfielder to use early on. I gave him 109 contact right, 106 contact left, 110 power right, 97 power left, 82 vision, 88 discipline, 115 clutch, 45 bunt, 40 drag bunt, and 99 durability. Like I said, he won a Gold Glove that year, so fantastic fielder with 92 fielding, an absolute cannon of an arm, 95 accuracy, 97 reaction, and a pretty good 84 speed. As I mentioned, I'm biased about this one because Cargo is one of my favorite players of all time. But again, this would be a super cool card to get early on in a game, and you know that I would be using him on my God Squad for a while. We don't usually see a whole lot of pitchers from the Colorado Rockies in MLB The Show, but one guy that I think they definitely could add that would be a lot of fun would be Brian Fuentes, the best relief pitcher in Rockies history. Most people don't remember this, but Brian Fuentes actually went to 3 All-Star games in a row in a Rockies uniform, 2005 through 2007, but the season that I thought I'd focus on in particular for this All-Star Series card was 2005. In 05, Brian Fuentes had 74 innings pitched, a 2.91 ERA. He only gave up 59 hits that year in 74 innings, and he only gave up 6 home runs. He was minimizing the long ball in a big way at Coors Field half the time. He also had 11 strikeouts per 9 innings, and the best of his career, like I said, talking about the home runs again, only 0.73 home runs per 9. The big thing about Brian Fuentes is he was very clutch. As you can see, I gave him 118 pitching clutch. With the bases empty, he had a 261 average against him. Not great. With runners on, that dropped all the way down to a 171 average, but it gets even better. With runners in scoring position, Brian Fuentes only had a 128 batting average against him. He also got better the more outs he had. With no outs, he had a 247 batting average against him. It dropped all the way down to 204 when he had 1 out. And with 2 outs when he needed 1 more to lock down a save, he only had a .202 batting average against him. Looking at the attributes on his card, I gave him a 96 overall with 25 stamina, 97 hits per 9, 103 Ks per 9, 80 walks per 9. He did walk a lot of guys. That's the one thing about Fuentes. He was a little bit wild. 110 home runs per 9, 118 pitching clutch, 86 control, 83 velo, and 95 break. The repertoire for Brian Fuentes, he had a sinker, a nasty slider, a changeup, and a four-seam. The velo was all right, but the reason that it was a tad lower was Fuentes, as you can kind of see in his card art there, he had a very, very funky motion, which I think would also be a good reason to add him in MLB The Show. He kind of almost threw like Mad Bum. It'd be like an Aaron Loop type guy out of the bullpen. But that's what I think would make this card really fun, especially, is the funky motion. All things considered, this would be a great card to potentially add for the Colorado Rockies. Like I said, they are very light on pitching. He's the all-time saves leader in franchise history with 115. And he's a 4-time All-Star. He led the league in saves with the Angels as well. So this is a good pitcher that would be awesome to have in the game. Card number 3 is another one that we used to get in old MLB The Show games until he retired a few years ago. That is Matt Holliday, one of the best Rockies of all time. I gave him a prime card because between 2006 and 2008, there weren't a whole lot of guys that were better than him. In 2006, Matt Holliday had 34 home runs, 114 RBIs, with a 326 average and a very good 973 OPS. 2007, the only year the Rockies have ever been to a World Series, this is where this man went absolutely nuclear. He put them on his back. He had 36 home runs, 137 RBIs. He hit 340 this year and had over a 1,000 OPS. He led the entire National League with 216 hits, 50 doubles, that 340 average, and 386 total bases. In that season, Matt Holliday finished second in MVP voting to Jimmy Rollins. The Rockies finished second in everything that year. They lost in the World Series. Matt Holliday was second in the MVP. Tulo was second in Rookie of the Year. And Clint Hurdle was second in Manager of the Year. We were just second in all of 2007. In a 2008 season where he saw some injury troubles, he still hit 25 home runs. He had 83 RBIs, and he hit 321 with a 947 OPS. So 2006 through 2008 would be perfect for a prime card because, like I said, he was one of the best during that span. During that stretch, he also went to the All-Star game all 3 years, won Silver Sluggers all 3 years, and received MVP votes in all 3 years. Between 06 and 08, he finished 16th in all of baseball in home runs, 11th in RBIs in all of baseball, 6th in runs scored, and he was 3rd in batting average in those 3 seasons with a 329 average. The main hitting attributes, as y'all see, is 114, 108 on the contact, 112, and 97 on the power. The thing that hurts Matt Holliday cards every time that he's been in the game in the past, and if he's in the future, is the defense. He was not a great defender at all. 72 fielding, 79 arm, 75 accuracy, and 68 reaction. But this, again, like I've been saying, if we were to get a card like this early on in the game of MLB 22, you know I would use him, and I bet a lot of people would as well. Card number 4, another card that we have seen in past games, and you knew that this man was going to be on the list. He was a fan favorite in past games. That is Tulo, and I was specifically looking at his 2011 All-Star season. That year, Troy Tulowitzki was essentially the best shortstop in all of baseball, not just the National League. His slash line that year was 302, 372, and 544, which was good for a 916 OPS. He also had 30 home runs and 105 RBIs, which was the most by shortstops in all of baseball. He was an all-star. He was 8th in National League MVP voting. He won the Gold Glove and Silver Slugger. For his attributes, he's 97 contact right, 104 power right, and 120 and 111 versus lefties. That year, his slash line against lefties was 349, 418, 631, and he only struck out 20 times. So he was putting the ball in play with authority against lefties. He was killing them that year. The other strong suit for Tulo is his defense. Like I said, he won the Gold Glove. 93 defense, 99 arm, 95 accuracy, and 97 reaction. Shortstop is a very important position in MLB The Show to have very good defense, and that's exactly what this card gives you. In past games, I remember some people would use Troy Tulowitzki as their endgame shortstop, and if we got a card that looked like this with parallels, then that is definitely still plausible. But We gotta get Tulo back in the game. That man was nasty, and he's so deserving of a card. The last Colorado Rockies card that we need in MLB The Show 22 is the Big Cat 99 overall Andres Galarraga. This man was one of the most underrated players in the 90s. He absolutely murdered baseballs, and this would be such a fun new legend. I gave Andres Galarraga a prime card because between 1996 and 1998, this man absolutely decided to go off. In 1996, Andres Galarraga had a 304 average, 47 home runs, and a whopping 150 RBIs. He also had a 958 OPS. He led the league in home runs that year and the entire MLB in RBIs. The Big Cat decided that he still wanted to murder baseballs in 1997. He had a 318 average, 41 home runs, and another 140 RBIs. That year was good enough for a 974 OPS, and for the second year in a row, he led the league in RBIs. In 1998, he continued again to kill pitchers. 305 average, 44 home runs, and 121 RBIs with a 991 OPS. Between 96 and 98, the Big Cat went to 2 All-Star games. He won 1 Silver Slugger, and he finished in the top 10 all 3 years in MVP voting. To really put into perspective how crazy this stretch was for the Big Cat, in those 3 years between 96 and 98, he was 5th in the entire MLB in home runs, only behind Mark McGwire, Ken Griffey Jr., Sammy Sosa, and Juan Gonzalez. He even outpaced Barry Bonds during that stretch. During that time, he was also 8th in the MLB in runs scored, 4th in RBIs, and 6th in slugging percentage. Like I said, this man was one of the most prolific power hitters in all of the 1990s, and it absolutely showed in those stats that I just read off right there. I gave him 98 contact right, 115 contact left, 117, and 120 on the power. Only 56 vision and 61 discipline. He struck out a lot. 125 clutch and 95 durability. He played first base, so defense isn't the biggest thing in the world, but 75 on the fielding, 62 arm, 60 accuracy, and 73 reaction. When we think of big-time power hitters from the 90s, Mark McGwire comes to mind, obviously Barry Bonds, the Sammy Sosas of the world. Andres Galarraga was up there with all those dudes. He totally flies under the radar, and this would be such a cool card if we could get him in the game. There you have it. Those are my 5 Colorado Rockies cards that I want to see be added to MLB The Show 22. If you guys like this video, like I said, let me know in the comments down below. I put a lot of preparation into this, so if you guys would rather see the gameplay, I want y'all to be honest, because this is definitely different from what we normally do. Also, let me know in the comment section down below, what team do you guys want to see next? What team do I need to create 5 more cards for MLB The Show 22? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure y'all hit it with a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys have not yet, and I will see you guys for the next video.